Hello and welcome back to another video on the rest of the debate and to another edition of Smackdown Out of 10. And yeah, today is a big episode of Smackdown because it's the first Smackdown we've had since the Royal Rumble, and obviously we've got all of the fallout from everything that went down with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline and all of that. So yeah, Roman Reigns did kick off the show and the Bloodline were heading to the arena. They refused to talk about Jey Uso or Sami Zayn, who weren't there, and we headed straight to the first match of the night, and that leads into later Roman Reigns pairing. We'll get into that at the time. It's Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus Imperium in the final of the weird tournament they've been doing recently. Ricochet and Kaiser kicked off the match, and Vinci ran the distraction early on, letting Imperium get control. Strowman took him out at ringside before Imperium hit dives at him. After a break, Ricochet took Vinci down, hit a shooting star press before Gunther got into a fight with Ricochet outside, leading to Gunther being ejected. Strowman tagged in and took Kaiser out with a monster bomb before Ricochet got the win and hit his shoulders following a Shanton bomb for the win. And yeah, it gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Good match. Strowman and Ricochet, yeah, kind of an odd couple team, but I'm kind of like it. Would have liked Imperium to win here, but I think the result makes sense. And obviously the match is taking place next week. It's going to be interesting because obviously we don't know Jey Uso's status of the Bloodline and his brother and all of that. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But on this match alone, it was a fun match, really good match. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And Braun Strowman and Ricochet, I guess for the odd couple, they're suiting each other at the moment, I suppose. It was then time for Charlotte Flair versus Sonya Deville for the Women's Championship, but Charlotte was backstage and said that WrestleMania would be epic, hyping up a match with Rhea Ripley, but Sonya Deville said she would take the title away from Charlotte and face Rhea herself, and then we did get into the match. Charlotte got the first takedown before Deville grabbed Charlotte by the hair and dragged her down. Sonya blocked a roll up and attacked Charlotte's knees before taking some clotheslines and suplex. Deville got a big clothesline before Charlotte got another clothesline and took Sonya into the corner. Charlotte went for a moonsault, but Deville got her knees up. Charlotte locked in the figure eight and she picked up the win, and it gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Kind of a simple win. For me, the feud went on a bit longer than it should have done, really, but it results in a Charlotte win, and now we're probably moving on to the rear stuff, I suppose. So yeah, 6 out of 10. The Bloodline was then backstage, and Reigns asked Jimmy where Jey was. Jimmy said he hadn't heard from him since the Rumble, and Roman ranted about running away from obligations. Roman sent Solo and Jimmy to go and find him as SmackDown rolled on to the Brawling Brutes versus the Viking Raiders. Butch and Eric kicked off the match before Holland came in and hit a big vertical suplex. Butch and Holland got Sheamus Stars chops on the Raiders before Valhalla ran the distraction, allowing Butch to be sent to the barricades. Holland had hit the Raiders with suplexes before taking Ivar down with an Alabama slam for a near fall. Ivar came back with a big boot before the Viking Raiders hit the Ragnarok for them, picked up the W. And yeah, 6 out of 10 from me. Decent match, good for the Viking Raiders to get a win. I don't really know where we're going with Sheamus and Ridge, but yeah, Viking Raiders, I think the point of this was to get them over, and it did that, so yeah, fair play. Following the match, we saw a recap of the pitch black match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. Before or after the clip, Uncle Howdy appeared behind Wyatt and put his hands on his shoulders as the latter sat on a rocking chair. Very scary, don't know what it means, but yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. But it's then time for Shotzi versus Zelina Vega versus Shayna Baszler versus Natalia in Elimination Chamber qualifier, even though that's for Raw, but never mind. The group went after Baszler early in the match, and she was ejected from the ring, but Vega got some near falls on Natty. Baszler came back and started dropping people, taking Natty down with a massive knee strike. Shotzi returned and got some big news before Baszler locked in a carry to clutch on Natalia. The latter broke out of it and knocked out a sharpshooter on Vega before picking up the win. And yeah, gets a 5 out of 10 for me. It just didn't make much sense. Natalia winning, yeah, to be honest, I would rather any of those three win it, especially Shayna. I know she's supposed to be doing stuff with Ronda at WrestleMania, but still, put her in the chamber because she's great. And yeah, I've got no hype for Natty really joining the match, unfortunately, so it gets a 5 out of 10 from me. Backstage, Roman was addressing the Bloodline and said that he was a lot of pressure on him at the moment. He said that he needed Jimmy and Solo to be strong during the crisis. Roman sent Jimmy and Solo to the bus before heading to the ring to handle some business. And Reigns was out next. The crowd were loudly chanting Sami Zayn. He said he would rather talk about Cody Rhodes, but decided to answer the crowd and said he called Sami ungrateful and greedy before a guy in a hoodie attacked him. And of course, it was Sami Zayn. He took Roman down, unloading on him and hitting a big spear before Roman managed to flee. But Sami got on the mic and said he would never wanted anything from Roman until now, the Universal title. Solo and Jimmy showed up and attacked Sami, taking him down and setting up a chair around his neck in the ring. Roman came back and moved the chair before taunting Sami and blaming him for breaking up his family. Roman said he would face each other at the Elimination Chamber and put his title on his face before SmackDown went off the air. And yeah, this was so good. All of the stuff from Jey running throughout the show to the Sami stuff, the attack, the pop it got was just extraordinary, really. And yeah, the crowd's so into it. The more it gets in, the more I think it should be the WrestleMania main event. But yeah, this was just so hot. Another brilliant segment. Sami Zayn becoming a mega face, and yeah, just another excellent segment. Great stuff. Overall, SmackDown this week gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a decent enough show this week. For me, not too much of a note happened until the main event, which was just another brilliant segment between Sammy and the Blood, and that's so hot. The rest of the show, there's not a lot happening, so I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. But yeah, that main event segment was really great and carried the show again. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. To like, share, subscribe, don't stop what's going to stand, and follow the show for daily wrestling news and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.